So David S. Goyer is responsible for a lot of stuff that people don't like of his. Then he's responsible for some stuff that people do love, like Blade. So let's talk about Goyer. Tried to force him to make Blade white. Okay, so Blade. I talk about Blade plenty on this channel anytime I can get a chance, right? I love that character, like, so much. It's one of the first, like, big films I saw in theaters, Blade 2 was, and I was just like, this is mind-blowing. That's when I discovered Guillermo del Toro, and that's when I really started getting into Blade. Not just that, like, one character I saw in the Spider-Man cartoon. I was like, I gotta know more about this character now. But as it turns out, the studio and execs working over there weren't so keen on the character we ultimately ended up getting. So when Marvel sold the rights in the 90s, because they were pretty much dying, write that Blade script. So he did. Then he handed it in, and they came back to him, they're like, this is good, but you got a problem there. Can you make the main character of Blade white? And Goyer was like, absolutely effing not. He says that's what he actually told them. Now, okay, so for those of you that are fans of Blade, understand that there are characters out there that their skin color is integral to their story because the way they were written, right? Like Black Panther, for example. Has to be. Like Storm. Like Blade. And then there's characters out there who were originally conceived that they could be any color, and a writer came in and was like, can I just change the color? And they're like, sure. Because that's what War Machine was. He was originally just literally a cheap Iron Man. There was another white guy, and Bob Layton was like, I'm changing his color and his skin color and some of his story and this and that. And they were like, sure, do it, whatever, it doesn't matter. His backstory doesn't dictate. So sometimes that can happen. But Blade, can you imagine that? If you would have been somebody that sees Blade in the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, like me, for example, the first time, then I hear a movie's coming out and I turn it on, I'm like, why is he white? And apparently, as the story goes, the studio was pushing for the actor that played Deacon Frost to be him. So I believe that was... It's going to take me a bit to pull that name out of my head. Stephen Dwarf? Oh, I think I might be right on that one. I can't remember. It's probably a name I haven't said in like a decade plus, but sounds like he was going to be their white Blade.